All right, so we have this phenomenal panel that brings an extensive knowledge of experience to the table. And for today's topic, we're going to go over a 23 outlook with an emphasis on innovation and DTC trends. Before we get started, let's get to know them a little bit more. Starting to my left, introduction, and then in rapid fire format, favorite drink, shameless binge watch, and to celebrate South by, what would be your walk-up song entering stage?
Well, hey everyone. Is this on? All right, cool. Everyone can hear me. My name's Akhil Anumolu, Vice President of Digital Products and Engineering over at KFC Global. So represent the consumer side, the restaurant tech side, obviously how we build that out. I get the fun of working with a lot of our international markets. We serve 145 markets. We've got 25,000 stores. You all know us, obviously, in the US, but I like to say we're big overseas. We're massive. And so I get to represent our global group here today and excited to be here with you all. All right, now, what were the questions? What's my favorite drink?
Favorite drink.
Favorite drink, beer. I'm only in Austin, so I can get Shinerbach.
What type of beer?
It depends on the season.
Okay.
If it's hot, I want a nice Pilsner. If it's cold, I want a nice stout.
Okay, shameless binge watch.
Okay, my shameless binge watch is, personally, it's All or Nothing series on Amazon Prime. I love sports documentaries. But if I want to embarrass myself, it's Below Deck on Bravo. Love that show.
Oh, I didn't prep him, promise.
There's a reason we connected up here. Yeah.
Walkout song.
All right, walkout song. So I am from Atlanta, so it's got to be Knuck If You Buck by Crime Mob.
It's a good one. Good, pass it to Maya.
Hi, I'm Maya Kosovalic. I'm the VP of E-commerce and Digital Innovation at NYX Professional Makeup, part of L'Oreal. I've also spent the last week at another internal conference, so I'm sorry, I apologize. I lost my voice and sound like a 1-900 number. So I'll do my best. So NYX Professional Makeup, if you haven't heard of it, you definitely should check it out. We're available in most mass retailers, and certainly at Ulta and online. And I think that's it. Questions?
Favorite drink?
Favorite drink. Favorite drink, I like a nice, bold cab blend from Paso Robles. Big wine club sort of member of Law and Lenny Coloto and Jacob Toft, so that would be it. My favorite shameless binge watch, that would be Emily in Paris.
Woo!
Although I've seen all of that, so also secretly Dynasty, the reboot.
Yes, can agree with that.
And the last question was, my walk-up song would be Dua Lipa, Physical.
Mike McGoohan here. I'm Chief Marketing Officer of Central Garden & Pet. We are a company probably many of you have never heard of, but we're the number 2 player in pet, and we're the number 2 player in lawn and garden, serving many of the favorite household brands that you have to hopefully take care of your pets at home and grow your grass lawns. Favorite drink for me would be an old-fashioned. I love rye old-fashions. The hotter, the better. In terms of my favorite watch, well, I'll admit I just finished the whole season of Outer Banks. Really did enjoy that. But I'm a sucker for anything with like a good crime chase element to it. So I just finished Ganglands as well. I thought that was pretty good, a French show. And walk-up song for me, anything old school hip hop. I actually just came from an exhibit about Biggie Smalls, so I probably would pick anything Biggie these days.
All right, I'm the final one. So Ryan Ostrom, I'm with Jack in the Box. If you're West Coast, you get drunk, you would know us. Pretty much when you eat us. My binge watch, I can't use Below Deck, so I'll go Vanderpump Rules. Very timely, what's going on right now. Any bourbon with rye, of course. And then walk-up song is actually Ice Cube, My Head Is So Big They Call Me Jack in a Box. 20 years ago, he was ahead of his time. So you can go listen to that. It's a great song. So.
So now you know what to send them at any point to get their attention. Let's jump in. So what we know is during inflation, consumers are tightening their belt. But right now, they're still spending and going out. A recent Yelp survey claimed, he loves my plugs. A recent Yelp survey claimed consumers are turning to national brands over local. But a challenge these brands are having is continuing trying to deliver premium as if the economy was good. So I want to start with Mike. What is your 23 outlook and how are you guys dealing with this?
Yeah, it's been a really challenging, I'd say, last 6 to 9 months for anybody who's running a consumer brand. We've seen big change in the consumer dynamics where inflation really started to hit many consumer categories starting June of last year. And that's when you start to see dollars and units start to really flip. So in most consumer categories today, units are down off of last year anywhere from probably -5 to -15%. At the same time, though, you see a lot of dynamics where the pricing has kicked in where people took anywhere from 16 to 25% pricing in a lot of categories. So those dynamics are really out of whack when you look at sort of the long-term health of consumers. You see now just in the last few months, some of the trading down starting to happening. But really interestingly, I think the Yelp survey is actually pretty well aligned with what I see is that people are buying national branded products. They're not buying private label. So private label is actually the biggest loser right now, which you would think in a downturn economy is typically the inverse happens. So what I think it does say to me is that people are spending money like they believe it's not going to run out. But unfortunately, you see in a lot of the data that's coming out around credit card usage today, credit card usage is all-time high. People's savings in their bank is 25% of what it was 1 year ago today. And so at some point, I think the proverbial shoe is going to drop here. And we're going to see, I think, a really changed consumer dynamic where people are going to be a lot more conscious about what they're spending. One of my favorite little stats about the economy today is that people have not seen any drop-off in getting massages, which I think is really interesting, but they're more apt to then drop off buying milk and eggs. So people want their services. Services are booming right now, but products take the hit on the other side. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and to complement that, Maya, what we also know is during hardships, people still need and enjoy little indulgence, like makeup. So curious, how is NYX Professional Makeup supporting this and staying top of mind?
Yeah, that's a great question, Rebecca. So first off, at NYX Professional Makeup, our mission is to provide the most accessible, high-quality products for self-made creators. So that means the highest quality ingredients, the highest grade pigments, all at an accessible price point to allow our creators to self-express at full volume. So NYX Professional Makeup is actually a great brand to lean into and indulge yourself when you want to feel good and look good and put your best face forward as you enter the world. But I think at a time when consumers are being hit by inflation right, left, and center, brands also need to think about delivering value beyond the price point. So if we think about consumers want to buy brands that they believe in, that stand for things that align with their values. And our consumer demographic happens to skew younger. So Gen Zennials want to see brands that stand for things that they believe in and that align with their values. And we lean into that by continuously supporting our core communities. For example, we are a proud ally of the LA LGBT Center, and we support the LGBTQIA+ community 365 days of the year. We have an inclusive makeup line, and our products are all vegan and cruelty-free, always have been, always will be. And so this is something that we find does resonate with consumers today, and so they can also feel good while indulging and spoiling themselves with a little bit of luxury.
Yeah, I want to stay with you for a second, but feel free to chime in. A trend we're seeing this year with brands is a huge focus on DTC. I read there's some big iconic brands out there that plan to have about 60% of their revenue DTC in the next year or two. I'm curious from NYX Professional Makeup standpoint, what are your thoughts there, as well as your outlook with 2023?
Well, so first off, NYX Professional Makeup is a mass brand. As such, we are available in most mass retailers. And so our retail partners will always be a huge part of our go-to-market. That being said, we have almost always had a D2C because connecting directly with our consumers is important to us, building those personal connections and ensuring that they stay and they continue to engage with us and that they're loyal. So we look at our own channels, which would include D2C and social, as really at the heart of the brand. They are at the heart of our Gen Z consumer journey. They are the brand incarnate. And they play a big role in our go-to-market. And then we continue to engage our consumers by, again, offering them value that goes beyond price, especially through our D2C channel. So we will often offer early access to product drops or even exclusive limited edition products that you can't get anywhere else except on our D2C. And then, of course, we have state-of-the-art shopping experience that is powered by technology. We have powerful AR tools on our site in our virtual try-on and shade finder that allow consumers to essentially play and learn and test our entire product catalog virtually and find a look that best suits their style and is personalized to them. So I think we continue to focus on delivering, again, value that goes beyond price, especially in our own channels where we truly engage with our consumer one-to-one. And that seems to resonate with the Gen Z consumer.
Yeah, thank you. And I'm gonna hush the back of the group a little bit. Oh, it's downstairs. Can't do anything about that. I love that, and you nailed the biggest trend for 2023, which is consumers want that personalized experience. So let's switch gears. Akhil, I'm interested. KFC's always done that well, connecting with their customers. What are you doing today to help support that?
Sure. We're evaluating a whole plethora of ways just because we're in so many different markets, so many different styles, so many different cultures. I think if I have to talk about the least sexy things that we're doing, like we're big on driving kiosks in all of our markets. The reason for that is kiosks are driving a one-to-one experience. We are allowing our customers to interact directly with our menus, and we know information about them as well. Likewise, it also helps increase, for our side, average order value. It gets their order right, and it frees up our team members to spend more time with our customers. Right? We're not building technology to remove people. We're building technology to have our team members create a better experience for the consumer that comes in. Now, everyone says, okay, cool, kiosks. Yeah, we see those everywhere. What's the sexy stuff that you're doing? All right, sexy stuff. We've built out, like every other company, a huge innovation lab. It's got a bunch of test kitchens. We can test out all sorts of new concepts in there, whether it's we can do voice activation, we can do automation. We started actually deploying some of the capabilities we built in there. So we launched our favorite little buddy called Flippy, which builds out French fries. It flips the baskets of French fries. We launched that actually in the UK. It's actually testing pretty well for us. And likewise, we're testing out some AI as well as some voice and conversational pieces.
I love that. And I think in yesterday's AI discussion, there is that fear of AI will be taking over, right? But you see these phenomenal, iconic brands that are using it to actually better customer service and free up their staff. Jack in the Box, I'm curious, similar vein, with technology and efficiencies, what are you guys doing and what's on the roadmap?
Yeah, I'll first want to build off what you said earlier, which is in an economy downturn, I think what you'll see a lot of brands go back to is comfort and trust. So as you look at your brand, what are the things that are about comfort and trust? Because no matter the situation, if the consumer is uncertain, they're going to go there. That's natural instinct for us. So as a brand, we're starting to lean into more of that, of what do they believe is our pillars, what does our brand represent, and it's really resonating. So as that uncertainty builds, that's what, as you look at your brand, try to figure what those aspects are. Regarding tech, we also have Flippy and Sippy. And
we have a Sippy too.
Yeah, Sippy and Flippy. Basically what it comes down to in our world is pain points. And so you look what KFC is doing, you look at what we're doing, we understand where the pain points are within our customer journey. Digital grew so fast that the wait times, the pain points, and also labor costs grew so fast. Those are the pain points for our franchisees and our guests and our third-party drivers. That pain point is what drives the investment within Flippy, Sippy, AI, kiosks. They're eliminating a pain point. And so the technology for us is how do we make things faster, easier, and quicker? Because we're in the business of convenience. And so with everything kind of changing and moving and post-COVID, trying to create that ease to the next level is what we're investing in as a brand.
And staying with you, so macroeconomic pressures are forcing businesses to close locations and cut staff. I may have read a phenomenal earnings report this week from Jack in the Box that states otherwise. You're in a different position. Can you share with this group a little bit more around that?
Yeah, I think it goes back to what we just kind of talked about. It's about the comfort, the trust. We have reinvented who our brand is, but we're also redesigning our future stores and our expansion to be built for this day and age. I think the challenge like a KFC has is they've already kind of expanded, so now they have to remodel their stores. We're West Coast. We're West Coast, Arizona, and Texas. That's where we're born and bred. As we expand to new markets, we're already building stores that are significantly smaller, double drive-through lane, might not even have dining rooms, because quite honestly, only 4 or 5% of our sales actually people walk into our stores anymore. It's all drive-through. It's all delivery. It's all order online and pickup. So we're starting to build stores that are more cost-effective. It means more margin for our franchisees, which means they're willing to expand. And so we're really excited about our first quarter. Hopefully we can do more of that. So.
Thank you. Maya, let's switch back to retail. How are you utilizing innovation today?
Well, we are utilizing innovation in a lot of different ways. I think that the route I'm going to take here is talk about building brand awareness and affinity with the younger consumer, and ultimately loyalty, if that's okay. So in the earlier panel, I think we talked a lot about the metaverse and Web3. Not so much maybe here yet, but that's really my wheelhouse. So if we think about leveraging innovation in beauty, NYX Professional Makeup has been investing in VR and AR since before Meta was Meta. But with what happened during COVID, where we all lived this dystopian reality, we were stuck at home, and the only escape being screens, it really pushed metaverse and gaming to reach new adoption levels in a big way. And the Gen Z consumer, 81% of them are gamers, have played a game in the last 6 months. And they also feel more comfortable in virtual spaces than in the real world. So knowing that our core consumer is this younger customer, we needed to enter this space to meet them where they are. So recently we entered Roblox. Just this September, we partnered with iHeartMedia to create a NYX Professional Makeup brand and experience inside iHeartland. And just this past Wednesday, we launched a whole new obstacle course, and you can play video now. We launched a whole new obstacle, if it's gonna come up, a whole new obstacle course to essentially engage and entertain consumers.
And that's not the right video.
No. Anyway, the idea is a really immersive brand engagement that goes far beyond what advertising dollars can buy. Because
why is it
the
that dogs and...
No. That's
my video.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Making sure you guys are awake after lunch.
Anyway, the whole premise of brand integration inside gaming is that it can get you a sort of engagement that, like I said, advertising money can't buy, because this obstacle course takes 3 to 7 minutes to complete. If you're an expert, 3 minutes. If you're not, 7. But it's going to take you many tries until you can actually complete it. And it's fun, it's engaging, and it's fully immersed sort of brand engagement inside this experience where you can have fun with friends. And so this is something that was dropped just this Wednesday, but it's a new way that we're trying to approach the younger consumer and build affinity and increase engagement, time and frequency, because it's a type of experience that they can play again and again and again. And if you think back to your formative years, what were you doing when you were 5 to 15? Probably playing outside with friends in your free time. Today, kids are spending more and more time in Roblox, playing in real time with friends. And so this is their formative experience, and what they experience will influence their purchase decisions outside. So there's another data point from Instagram that Gen Z, more than 50% of Gen Z will look to avatars for inspiration on their fashion and beauty style. And so this is just a way for us to build affinity and awareness with this younger consumer in a fun, engaging way that will reap benefits, I think, long term and build lasting relationships.
Yeah, this is great. Maya and I were speaking earlier. I saw something on Good Morning America this morning where an international AI company is solely focusing on touch through virtual reality for those connections. So it's becoming more and more a part of our world and something that your team does very well in advance.
Thank you.
Let's switch to some exciting stuff around marketing and advertising in 2023. We're going to address this to the entire group, so feel free to just jump in. But maybe we start with Mike. What does marketing look like for you this year?
Yeah, so at Central, one of our opportunities is taking legacy household brands and figuring out how do we make them relevant for younger consumers. And so during COVID, is what may not surprise you, pet was an absolute home run during COVID. We had over 4 million new households enter, of which 2/3 of those people were Gen Z or millennials. And so it got a whole lot younger. We saw Gen Zers in particular trading their bar tab for dog food as they were bringing a new furry friend to their home. The fastest growing group of pets, though, was small pets. And so you saw a lot of people entering the category getting a guinea pig or getting a rabbit. Maybe they're adding a lizard to their homes. And so we took a spin on one of our top brands. It's a brand called KT. It's the #1 small pet brand. But really, it's a category in which you probably have never seen any mass marketing to. And so we took our spin at it and thought that, when times are a little bit tougher, I believe more and more in the power of brand marketing. Brand marketing delivers the context for someone to want to attach to ultimately making a purchase. And so in this case, we partnered up with Rainn Wilson from The Office, and we did a campaign with them last summer, which we'll show you the 2-minute video of, and then I'll explain what happened.
Why is it that dogs and cats get all the love? Small animals deserve the spotlight too. It's time somebody did something about this. And that somebody is Kenneth. And me, Rainn Wilson. I'm entering Kenneth into the Westminster Dog Show. So I went to go see some dog show professionals. Right now, when you say jump, turn, stop, he just pretty much stays there, kind of like a potato, but can you train him to do that stuff like a dog would do it?
You got treats?
Well, he eats the grass.
You can never go wrong with just classic Hollywood glamour. It's time.
But I want to make him look more like a dog. On a scale from 1 to dog, where would you say that Kenneth ranks?
Probably close to a 3. So more on the not dog side.
Okay, here we go, Kenneth. That wasn't bad. I brought some evidence here.
Okay.
Last year's Westminster Dog Show winner is named Wasabi.
Okay, let's see.
Pekingese. Kenneth Wasabi. This could be the winner this year. When you look at him real quick, like, what do you see? You see a dog? Like, oh, I'm a dog. Hi.
I see a...
Just say he's a dog.
Yeah, he's not a dog.
This is not a dog.
Yes and no.
You want to enter this guinea pig into the Westminster Dog Show.
That's right. Yes.
But no, he's not a dog,
He's not a pig either.
Mr. Wilson, but I can't do it.
Can you give me one good reason why Kenneth shouldn't be in the dog show?
Well, Kenneth's not a dog. I'm so sorry.
We didn't really care anyway, so whatever. Of course. If we can't go to the show, we'll bring the show to us.
So in the back of this, we partnered with Rainn, with the founders of Funny or Die, who put this together. There was a much longer form video. This video had 20 million views within the first couple days of us launching it, and people really believed that we were trying to enter Kenneth into the Westminster Dog Show. On the back of this campaign, we actually formed our own live on Instagram award show hosted by Rainn Wilson. And so in that, we had hundreds of entries of people entered in their animals, why they should win awards, and we awarded them. On the back of this campaign, we generated a retargeting pool of over 10 million people that has now allowed us to fuel 4 share points of growth on the backside of this campaign here, which for all the consumer campaigns I've been involved in, that's the most share growth I've ever seen so quickly. But I think what this example reinforces is about the point of contextual relevance. You get something that really resonates with people. You saw in there very little KT branding of the whole thing, but it's seen huge upticks in purchase intent because it's something that's authentic and resonates really well with our consumers. So something we're really excited to do. We've done a few more examples that I can share with anybody later of really similar tactics in marketing.
It was too good not to share. This is a stud of a panel, so we definitely want to get to Q&A, but anyone else want to share something specific, cliff notes around marketing for 2023, or do you want to open it up?
I'll happily share.
Okay.
So for us in marketing, obviously we're doing a ton of things, just given the number of markets we're in. Obviously we do a lot of influencer work. In the US, we partnered up with Jack Harlow, who's absolutely fantastic. By the way, he's a lot taller than you think he is, so like if you ever meet him, you'll be surprised. In Europe, we work heavily with soccer stars. So through the World Cup, we did a lot of sponsorships, influencer campaigns with the national teams. And then gaming. Gaming is absolutely huge for us. In the US, we just dropped our Diablo 4 partnership with them. So if you get a double down, which is awesome, by the way, a great drunk food, just like tacos at Jack in the Box, you can play that game early. And then we also have a new metaverse partnership coming out later this year. We're going to be a launch partner. I can't tell you who it is, but it's pretty big, and it's from the founder of Grand Theft Auto. So we're pretty excited for that.
That'll be good. Anyone, should we pass to questions? Yep. Okay.
All right. Hello. Ryan, San Diego kid, so I can vouch why you go to Jack in the Box. And also get rid of the store so there's more parking lot space for high school kids to just hang out in. A question from Maya. You talked a lot about value beyond price, and consumers are changing rapidly, and their expectations and their values are always changing, probably more than ever. So how do you keep a pulse on your consumers to understand kind of in real time what they value and how that's changing?
Okay. Well, that's a great question. So it's not easy. I would say that at NYX Professional Makeup, we pride ourselves at moving with the speed of culture, at the speed of culture. And so, we're really driven by a mission to service our creator community. And so keeping a close relationships with creators and understanding which direction they're moving in allows us to move at the speed of culture. So we have just recently, for example, if you saw in the press, we launched a beauty DAO called Gorgeous. And the purpose of this really is to build a relationship with 3D creators who will essentially define the future of beauty in the metaverse and the future and the role of cosmetics for digital identity. So I think keeping a close relationship with the creator community, and I'm personally a big believer that where creators go, culture follows. So if you think about what happened during COVID and how Web3 took off, I mean, there was a number of tipping points in terms of captive audience at home, technological advancements that allowed engaging on screens to be much more interactive. But then there was also this audience of freelance creators that were sitting at home unemployed and looking for alternate streams of revenue that led to experimentation with NFTs and those collections, and speculation followed, et cetera. And so they're usually early adopters, and then business follows creators. So that's a concrete example of where creators move culture, and now we're seeing more mass adoption of businesses entering the spaces because of what happened in 2020 and 2021 that was very much fueled by creators trying to solve a need for themselves. I mean, I can give you another example of creators moving culture. If you look at real estate, some of the most expensive real estate today in the US was once the most undesirable real estate. So the example of Soho was very poor neighborhood where creators moved in, took up big spaces, created lofts where they could create and also congregate with one another. And eventually real estate developers saw that put in restaurants, put in shops. People moved in, and now Soho is one of the most expensive real estate markets in the U.S. Same thing happened with Miami South Beach. Same thing happened with Wynwood. And it was the same real estate development company that worked on all three neighborhoods, coincidentally. So I would say that the fact that our mission is to provide accessible tools to creators for self-expression, and building a close relationship with creators is what allows us to keep the pulse on where culture is moving.
Thank you, Maya.
Hey everyone, my name's Katie. Quick question. So, as we're thinking about moving into DTC in 2023, how are you actually planning to communicate with your audiences, your customers? What does that strategy look like? Whether it's in mobile or SMS, just curious.
I mean, I'll say that. I think one of the big challenges of the last couple of years is that we have gone too far down funnel with direct to consumer. And my big belief is that many brands who launched themselves in the last 3 years skipped the traditional 4 steps of marketing and felt like we could just jump right to talk to the consumer, because why wouldn't we? It's available right there. And now we're seeing many of those brands really stalled in growth because they've really just earned trial, but they haven't earned repeat. And that's where all of us probably make our dollars today, is really on the repeat. And so I think that you're going to see more and more brands spinning back to more traditional brand marketing tactics. Building, causal marketing is a nice way to build a backbone, but that's not enough to fuel long-term sustainable growth for a company. And so I think figuring out how you connect with consumers in ways that really matters to you, doing that in authentic ways. And so in some ways you're going to see, I think, a flip back to away from purely programmatic tactics to more traditional digital media tactics as a way to communicate.
Yeah, and I'll kind of jump in there, and I'll speak from my Yum days. Yum has a theory, SOBO, sales overnight, brand over time. And I think what you've seen is a lot of marketing went sales overnight, and you're going to see the swing back to brand over time. And what does your brand stand for? And it's like the campaign you did, really brand driven. People understand what your brand stands for. And I think there's going to be a swing back to that a little bit. So,
yeah, and I'll probably provide a little bit different viewpoint, because I sit more on the engineering and digital side. Definitely agree with what they're saying. I think from the side I sit on for product and whatnot, it's also we've got to create capabilities that are unique in our digital spaces that you're only going to find in our digital spaces. In the food space, like a lot of our customers are using aggregators. Aggregators are great about building capabilities first. Obviously, they don't have to deal with the capital expense of actually running restaurants. But at the same time, what can we do that differentiates us? Why are they going to come to our platforms? Why are they going to come to our stores? And that's where we are looking at that as well. And I'm sure everyone here, on how do we provide that differentiated experience that you're only going to get in that one-to-one relationship with us.
And just one more build on that. Sorry. It's just what you're saying is that on the retail side, this is a real problem today, because we can't out Amazon. And I think a lot of consumer brands have run into this problem where we thought naively people want to come to our website. But if Amazon decides in any individual category they want to be a player, we have no amount of budget to compete with them. And so it is, whether it's on the engineering side or it's on the value proposition or the education, brands need to be more and more focused on what is that differentiator, what is your reason to believe why someone needs to come directly to you versus going through the other mediums to buy your product.
Well, I was going to say, I agree with everything you've said, and I feel like I have to say something because everyone said something, and so it's like I have FOMO. So I agree what you're saying. I think, yes, it's brand over time is what you said. Cause and unique value proposition. So, what I wanted to follow up with was just examples. So what I shared is that at our site, we do have state-of-the-art experiences that you cannot have anywhere else except for on our site, like our virtual try-on technology. And in addition, again, we're mission-driven. We know what we stand for. We know who we serve. And we're relentless in making sure that we're delivering on that promise. So delivering on the promise to creators. But when I say creators, it's really anybody that wants to play with makeup can play with makeup on our site or in our stores with our product. They are accessible, and they have the best quality color payoff at a very accessible price point. And lastly, in terms of cause marketing, we're very close to our consumer communities and our tribes. So for one, I mentioned that we support the LGBTQIA plus community 365 days of the year. And last year, we really felt that it was important that after 2 years, we were able to celebrate Pride in person for the first time. but at the same time, the LGBTQIA plus community was at the heart of a lot of tensions going on in our country. And so we felt very strongly about creating a platform where the community could celebrate safely from anywhere in the world and at full volume. And so we partnered with the Sandbox and People of Crypto to create a space in the metaverse, in the Sandbox, where essentially we put on a meta pride with a collection of avatars that represented 84.3% of the world majority. So 36 skin tones, every ethnicity, sexual orientation represented in avatars and dropped as NFTs. And this was in June of last year when the crypto market was experiencing a meltdown, but the collection sold out, and it was very well received because it stood for something. And I think that's what I was saying earlier in terms of delivering value beyond price. And so this is one community, but I mean, we're also an inclusive brand with shade ranges for every skin tone, and we continuously represent underrepresented communities across our communication channels 365 days of the year. And I do think that that is value beyond price that consumers will care about. And a reason to come to your channel is that sometimes, I mean, the best place to experience these types of collabs, integrations, or early access to products that come alongside with this is on your site.
We are over, but one last question. Maybe. Quick.
Unfortunately, it's kind of multi-part. I would like to know, especially from the QSR guys up here, what digital tactics are performing well for you with which KPIs, and what digital tactics are performing well for you with which KPIs, and what level of value do you put into brand lift studies versus other tangible studies like foot traffic?
Sure, I'll take first stab at this. So let me start with like your second question, right? What are we looking at in terms of as a brand and what's driving traffic for us? Obviously, we pulled a bunch of studies. So obviously, we're studying our own data in terms of the foot traffic we're getting in stores. Where is that traffic coming from? If they're using our digital properties, where are they geolocated versus where is their actual store versus what is a trade zone that they have? We also buy external data a heavy bit, right? We want to know brand trends that are going on. We want to know what our market share is, right? In a majority of countries, we're either number one or number two. We've got to measure that, and obviously we've got to use external partners that way. Likewise, we even do it from like our food innovation standpoint, right? So what's trending with folks? What do we have in our repertoire that we can bring forward? And likewise, how do we innovate to also start setting trends in the food space? So that's why we're kind of evaluating that. And sorry, I forgot the first question. Or if you want to answer that too.
All I was going to say is it's in marketing, I'll tell you, if you can't tie things to sales, you won't have a long job. It's just straight. It's in every business I've been in, KFC. If we can't tie what you're doing to sales, it becomes a tough conversation. Now, we do look at lead indicator brand metrics that lead to long-term brand growth, and those are things you want to build over time. But at the end of the day, if you can't figure out how that is driving to the bottom line, the conversations become very tough with your CFO and your stakeholders. So.
Okay, tactics and KPIs. I mean, he hit it on the head. At the end of the day, sales. We're all commercial organizations. We've got to drive revenue.
Transactions and sales.
Yeah, transactions and sales. ROI, that's it. That's all.
All right, we are going to wrap. Thank you for this wonderful panel.
That was really good. Thank you.